Unit 5. The Wonder Ball. The old couple, firemen and bosses, lived in a hut on a mound. They worked hard in their farm and were only able to get as much food as they needed. Yet they were so kind that they would never let any stranger who came to their doors go without food. They welcomed the guest with joy and shared their own meal with him. One evening, they finished their supper and sat mound at the door. Suddenly, they heard the barking of dogs and shouting of boys in the village. Soon the noise grew louder. Firemen saw two strangers at whom the village boys hooted and the dogs barked. Fireman said to his wife, "Look at these boys. They ill-treat the poor strangers. I shall go and bring them. You go and see if there is any food to give them." Fireman went down to meet the ragged newcomers. He drove back the dogs and said, "Welcome, strangers." He took them into his poor cottage and made them sit at the table. They looked very tired. Bosses placed a small bowl of milk on the table and said, "This is all that I have for you, sirs. How I wish you had come a little earlier. We would have shared our supper with you." "Don't worry, good lady," said one of the guests, "all will be well. Your kindness makes this drink a feast to us. We are pleased with your hospitality." Bosses poured the milk from the bowl into 2 cups and placed them before the guests. They drank the milk and later one of them asked for some more. Bosses in confusion said, "Sorry, my dear guests. There is hardly a drop left in this bowl." "Why," cried the guest, taking the bowl, "there is milk in this bowl as much as we want." So saying, he filled not only his cup but also his friends. Bosses was astonished as the guests filled their cups again from the bowl. She could hardly believe her eyes. "They are not ordinary men," whispered Bosses to her husband. "Yes," he replied, "they must be angels from heaven, come to bless us." "Good mother," said the guests, "we thank you for your kindness. May your bowl be full of milk always." Then they went to bed. Firemen and bosses could hardly sleep because of the wonder that the strangers had worked with the ball. The guests arose early next morning and got ready to go. Firemen and bosses walked out with them for a short distance. "Good firemen and bosses," said one of the guests, "we are God's messengers. We are much pleased with your kindness. Ask for anything you like. You shall have it. The old couple looked at each other. After a moment Philemon said, "Good angels, we wish to die together." "Be it so," replied the angels, "there is your home. Live in it as long as you desire and come to heaven together." Old Philemon and bosses were astonished to see their poor cottage turned to a grand mansion. When they turned round to thank the angels, they saw nobody there. They humbly prayed to God and lived in their mansion doing good to everyone.